Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Oh, look, there's lots of folks coming in here. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Rutledge Wood on behalf of Odyssey Battery. Just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I know that I speak for pretty much everybody. I wish we were all in Vegas right now for the SEMA show, but since we aren't, we're all going to be here hanging out together. We're really excited to bring you virtually some of the experiences that you would get if you were at the Odyssey booth with us out there at SEMA. We've got some great fellow Odyssey partners who are going to be joining us. We've got Brian and Hailie Deegan. We got Team Penske's Austin Cindric, and of course, NASCAR legend, the king himself, Mr. Richard Petty. Now, the best thing you can do
Okay,
right
you
now,
want me to hang up? Are you good?
click on your screen. You just click speaker view for the best experience. And if y'all can all make sure that you're on mute, you can stay muted. That way we can hear all our guests. That's the best way. You can use the chat feature over there in the corner of the screen if you have any questions. That way you can ask product questions throughout the session. You can also ask questions for each of our guests, which is going to be really fun. If for some reason we miss your product questions, we're going to be sharing a contact page at the end of the event with instructions on how you can find out exactly to get that question answered, or if you want to talk to somebody more that can assist you in finding the right Odyssey battery for your product. So let's start out with me. So that's me in the corner there. Some of you, or even your kids, may have seen me this summer on the new show on Netflix, Floor is Lava. That was hanging in the corner. But a lot of you know me from my coverage of NASCAR on NBC, Speed Channel, and Fox Sports 1 before that. Or maybe you've seen me on a show called Top Gear that I did with Tanner Faust and Adam Ferrara on the History Channel. They've been playing it all over, certainly this year in this kind of crazy time. But I'm a car guy really since birth. My dad grew up on Route 66, and he's the reason that I got into cars. And now my love of them has far surpassed kind of anything that he's got still for the love of cars. He will participate in my car shenanigans, but I've definitely figured out where that threshold is. My dad used to have a Ford Thunderbolt. He and his brother used to drag race out in New Mexico, and we tried to find it years ago. But I thought with that kind of a history, you know, he would be into fast cars, and I've scared him enough to know that I think that was just a time in his life when he was younger, and he's kind of passed that by. But I've been doing stuff with Odyssey for over 7 years, and we've done the Hot Rod Power Tour together, tons of different builds a lot of you have seen. Last year at SEMA, we unveiled my RWB Porsche 911 project we did with Continental Tire and Summit Racing. We put a 525 horsepower crate motor LS3 in the back of the 911 wide body, of course, big Odyssey battery under the hood for that. For me, for all my projects, I always need to make sure that I've got a battery I can rely on that's going to crank and power everything I need to, and forever. That's why I love Odyssey so much. So today I just took delivery and ownership of a 1995 Skyline GTR that was imported from Japan. It's right-hand drive, all-wheel drive turbo. I know a lot of you know the kind of legend of the GTR. I'm so excited about that. But, you know, whether it's working on my Toyota Supra build, my Mark IV that's out in Texas with Ricky Leos, or any of my other builds, you can certainly see on my Instagram or my Facebook pages. I always love Odyssey for what they do and what they bring to my project. So today, we're also going to find out about a lot of other fun people's projects. It's not just about me. For example, the guy that we're going to talk to in just a minute, my friend Alan Kohler, he has a couple fun projects in his garage, which hopefully he'll mention as well. But the cool thing for me is the variety of products, whether it's your boat, whether it's your, you know, anything in the power sports realm, your side-by-sides. Odyssey's got something that's going to work for you, and you should definitely dig in and check them out if you haven't had that chance yet. But again, big thanks to everybody that's joining us. We have some fantastic guests that are going to join us today, virtual. It's the best we could do. I know it's awkward as could be this whole year, but it's really the joy of 2020. So that being said, what I want to do now is introduce my friend Alan Kohler. He's a marketing manager of Odyssey. Now, when I say that he's a car guy, y'all got to know this is through and through, because he has in his garage a Fiero and a 350 SS Chevy truck that he's restoring himself. Alan, I know that you are going to jump in here and kind of give us a little Odyssey Battery 101. So if you're ready, take it away, my friend.
All right, thank you very much. I am ready. So, as Rut said, I'm the marketing manager for North America, and he also mentioned that I'm a car guy. So I'm kind of sad that we're all not at SEMA looking at all the cool cars, because there's definitely an overabundance of that. Sometimes you can't even see them all. Um, Before we get into the fun stuff of the day, we just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Odyssey Battery as a whole, maybe for some people that aren't extremely familiar with the product. As you would see at SEMA, a lot of high performance parts for high performance cars. And here at Odyssey, we consider ourselves a high performance AGM battery. So what does that mean? Well, AGM batteries in general by design inherently have a lot of very good properties that lend to overall, good performance, excellent performance of a battery. I'd say one of the biggest things AGM in general is the fact that they are extremely vibration resistant. So over the years, you might have had a battery go bad and, driving down the road, all of a sudden it's not working anymore. Well, what happened to it? Something broke loose inside and now you're done, you're straight on the side of the road. AGMs in general don't really have that problem because you can kind of see in the diagrams on the screen there, the plates and the separators are packed really tight together and shoved into that battery to the point where it's not moving. So again, high vibration. That is something that's, as a whole, we really need that for things like off-road market. So we see a lot of off-road vehicles at SEMA, some big old 4x4s that do truck racing and things like that. So that's one of the major factors. The other thing that we use that's a little bit different than the rest of the world is what we call TPPL, so thin plate pure lead. So there's two things there. The thin plate part of it, what it sounds. We make the plates really, really thin so we can pack a lot of them in there. And when you got a lot of plates, you got a lot of power. So the plates, the way we make them, they're kind of like rolled and stamped, really, really flat versus like a cast plate that other competitors use. So you might go to an auto parts store, you have several different variations of batteries that you have
can
able
unmute it and
to
it just
buy.
says I gotta
And
I don't know.
some of those are just your
Maybe I've
regular.
got a volume button here.
Can everybody mute, please? Thank you. So
I'll keep playing with it. It looks like he's talking now. I just can't hear it. So
can you mute, please?
okay, bye.
Anyway, sorry about that. Where was I? Different types of batteries. So in your auto parts store, you got flooded batteries, you got regular AGM batteries, and then you got high performance AGM batteries, like I mentioned. So different levels of pricing, of course, but definitely different levels of performance as well. I mentioned, the multitude of plates equaling the large amount of cranking power, which you need for some of these high horsepower engines that these cars are running out there at SEMA. And what we call there is, just massive starting power. I mean, you just can't really ask for anything more than what you can get in Odyssey as far as starting power as compared to the competition. The other thing that part of the thin plate pure lead is the pure lead. So what does pure lead do? Several things, actually. The first one is low self-discharge. So if your car sits a lot, as again, a lot of these SEMA cars do, they're all show cars and whatnot. It sits for a long period of time. Your battery is typically going to want to drain on its own. Pure lead helps in that fact that it doesn't drain as fast. Actually, if you had it unhooked, it really wouldn't drain at all. But all cars, if the battery's hooked up, you get a little bit of key off drain, clocks, radios, whatnot. So you're going to see some of that. That's why we tell people, use a battery tender type of charger if you're going to be having your car sit for long periods of time. But overall, a lot less discharge than a standard type of battery. The other thing that pure lead does is fast recharge. So because of low internal resistance of the battery, you can recharge it really fast. So I don't know, maybe you left your lights on and you need to get somewhere, you put it on a charger, it will ramp up and charge really, really fast as compared to, again, the competition. So just a couple things, to think about when buying an Odyssey battery, where we are a little bit better than the competition. And the third and final thing that pure lead does, especially with older flooded batteries, you've seen that green, furry, gross stuff on the terminals, and you say, oh, that's corrosion. That's comes from just dissimilar metals doing their thing. And with pure lead, you don't really have that. I mean, it's almost completely eliminated. So we say virtually no corrosion when it comes to a pure lead battery. The other thing that all Odysseys offer, which many other battery companies do in different types of batteries. So all of ours are both starting and deep cycle. So you can buy one battery and that can do, your engine starting stuff, and maybe have like an RV and need a backup power or a trolling motor or whatnot. And so we do that all in one. So you don't need to buy two different batteries. We do everything in one shot. So deep cycle. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about as far as battery construction goes is extreme temperature tolerance. So it's another thing where we excel, where other folks don't really have the upper hand. We say our products can go from minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know who wants to start their battery at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and then all the way up to and including 176 degrees Fahrenheit on some models. So heat really kills batteries, and that's another place where an Odyssey will really do you well. Like we go to places like Arizona or Las Vegas, and people say, "Hey, I only get a year or two out of my battery. What can you guys do for us?" And typically, if I tell them they can get double the life out of their battery, they're super happy because they don't have to charge, they don't have to change their battery every year, every other year. So that's the other thing that we really tout as far as Odyssey batteries. So all those things, think about it when you're buying a battery for even your daily driver. Rut mentioned I have a couple project cars and they have Odyssey batteries in, but so do my daily drivers. And there's a reason for that, because I want power, I don't want to be stranded, and I want to know that, it's going to last me a good long time. And that's why I'm here sitting in front of you talking about Odyssey batteries. And, one of the other things you see on the screen there, 2 times the power and 3 times the life. Everything I just talked about equates to 2 times the power, because we packed all that extra plates in there. So now you get all the extra power on hand when you need it. And the life goes between like the pure lead, where you're not having the corrosion. It's going to overall last your battery a lot longer than a standard battery. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's short and sweet. If anybody has any
Alan,
questions.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Can I ask one?
Yeah, sure.
So how long has Odyssey been making batteries for the Enthusiast?
We started, actually, it's coming up on our 25th anniversary in next year. So was that 1997 we started? I think? 96. Yes. 25, I can't do math today. 1996. So we started building Odyssey batteries in 1996. One of our big markets back then was the audio systems. Everybody that has the big thumping audio systems have to have big heavy duty batteries to power all that, because that is your reserve power. And the other thing was the marine industry. So trolling motors, people were looking for a good battery for the marine industry back then. We stepped up to the plate, and people have been using them in both those applications ever since.
Because really, it's kind of everything under the sun. If you've got an engine, something that you need power, it really seems like Odyssey has an application that'll work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have smaller batteries. We're sitting here talking about cars, but we make batteries for ATVs, UTVs, snowmobiles, personal watercraft. That's a fairly big part of our business as well. Different categories, what we might see at SEMA. But if you have toys, you probably have multitude of things that would use an Odyssey battery. So your truck, trailer, maybe your trailer has sleeping quarters in it. Your UTV you're hauling in that trailer, or your boat you're hauling with that trailer. So yeah, definitely we have stuff to handle it all.
Well, it's funny because you're always the person, Alan, that I call when I need a battery. So whether it's my little Japanese K-van, my Suzuki, the little turbo, or the winch that I use on my car trailer when I'm pulling projects up, that's what's great for me, because the same size battery that I can use for that winch is also the same size that's under the hood of my Tundra that keeps that thing cranking every single day. But I've been lucky enough to go on the Hot Rod Power Tour with you. Do you have maybe one favorite memory of some of the things that you've gotten to do and really see an Odyssey battery hard at work in your time there?
Hard at work.
I mean, I know there's a ton, but do you have a favorite that jumps out?
I'll tell you what, one just did jump in my mind, and it has to do with SEMA. It was one of the first times I was at SEMA, and Tanner Faust, it was a Volkswagen drift car, 4-door Passat.
Oh yeah.
Had the Rockstar decals on the side. I remember coming to that show and looking in the back seat where the battery was mounted, and it was this tiny motorcycle-sized battery. I'm like, come on, guys, really? That starts a turbocharged LS motor? And they're like, yeah, no problem, all day long, every day. And I'm like, cool, I'm sold.
And that thing's a monster.
Yeah. I see there is a note on the chat here. Somebody has a question about Odyssey and tanks in the Gulf War, and that's one of the things I actually wanted to talk about. The slide, I think, said military-inspired design. I kind of glossed over that. So yeah, that's when we started. Part of what we started was for the military. So we make batteries for everything: tanks, subs, aircraft. So we're definitely, and still are, very, very heavily into the military market. So it's not quite as commonly knowledge. Obviously you're not going to go buy one for your tank at the AutoZone, but we do all that, and that's where the technology comes from.
Well, that's awesome, Alan. Thank you for sharing all this. Before we bring in each one of our guests today, we're going to take a walk down memory lane. So what do you say? Let's take a look back to Vegas last year. Maybe there's some of you that have never been to SEMA before. I know we certainly have a lot of regulars on here that have, but before we jump in and talk to our friends, Brian and Hailie Deegan, let's take a look back at SEMA last year to get us ready for 2021.
I'm Simon Pagino, and I'm a driver of number 22 Team Penske IndyCar, and we're here at SEMA. We have a very strong relationship with Odyssey. I personally use Odyssey in my vintage cars, which provide me reliability, and the car starts right up when I need to. So that's what you look for, and obviously for us as on the race team, using those battery gives us reliability and the power that we need to go on and win races.
All right. Well, now let's shift gears a little bit and let's welcome longtime Odyssey partners. We've got Hailie Deegan, who drives for DGR Crosley, driving full-time in their number 4 Ford in the ARCA Menard Series. Just made her NASCAR Truck Series debut at Kansas, and they announced she's going to be competing full-time in the NASCAR Truck Series in 2021. And Pops, that's right, her dad, Brian, longtime Odyssey partner, Brian Deegan, legendary motocross driver. You guys know he's the most decorated freestyle motocross rider in X Games history. Currently competes in Lourdes. He's got 2 younger sons that are competing in youth motocross. First off, Deegans, welcome. Thanks for joining us, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us, for sure.
Yeah, how are you?
Oh, I'm so good. I've missed seeing you guys. I don't get to see you at the racetrack right now. We're not getting to see you at SEMA. So first off, Hailie, congrats. What a big year this has been for you. The announcement, I was so happy to see that, because so many of us that have been watching you climb these ranks know what a big deal that is to get that opportunity. For folks who maybe didn't get to see some of that announcement, what does that mean for you to know that you're going to get to go race the Truck Series full-time next year?
It's everything for me. There's been so much work put into my NASCAR racing and so much time and just so much effort from everyone around. And just to have good partners and good people like Odyssey and a bunch of other people behind us, it just makes the experience so much more fun, especially when you have good people around you. Sometimes it's hard to deal with some people, but I've made like a core group of good people around me, and that's what makes it fun. So it's a long road ahead. Trucks is just the start. And from there, we just go on.
Don't mind the beeping. Someone's really checking out the space bar. Brian, for you, it's been so cool to see this kind of time in your life, man, because someone like me who was always a fan of yours, but then became a friend, and getting to see you're able to use your skill, your love of racing, share those with your family, and now getting to watch your daughter climb the ranks is a really special thing, I'd have to think, for you.
Yeah, it is for sure. It's a lot of years of racing, a lot of years really competing. You think of growing up racing motocross and supercross, and taking a chance, moving to California to chase my dreams, and helping to have create the sport of freestyle motocross and have a run in X Games and action sports for so long. And our image, in X Games, we were rebel dudes, and and we were just doing backflips on dirt bikes and risking our lives at all those events. And little did I know I was going to be this parent, right? And like it was going to carry on this legacy, right, of our name and of just racing history. And I'm glad, I'm glad that it wasn't just to fizzle out after X Games. I'm glad that I was able to, shift gears instead of, ringing my career for every last, bit it was worth. There was a time where we just made this transition where I put a lot of focus into Hailie and the boys, and was like, okay, let's build them up into their careers while I still had great partnerships and, with sponsors and all the relationships we built over the years. And we're able to parlay that into the kids and help them get their boost. And now, the biggest payoff for me is to see that they're really taking it serious and they're making something of the opportunity that we created for them, for sure.
Because there had to have been a transition for you, Brian, watching you to know the grind, the sacrifice, and everything that you put in. At some point, your success and marketing came together, and we saw what you created out of the militia and everything that you did from that point on. You, in so many ways, dude, were such an innovator because you did something that no one had really done before you and paved this path. So how do you juggle that as a parent, both wanting to support your daughter, following her heart if racing's what it is, but also helping her understand that you can also have the time of your life doing it and be where you want to be and be who you want to be at the same time? How do you kind of help guide all those things at once?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and I try to tell people that, for all this to work, there's got to be a lot of help and support from so many people. And I always say the pieces of the puzzle, you have sponsors, you have family, you have your relationships of so many people, pitching in that are trying to help this thing work. And I feel like innovating has always been my deal. I love innovating. If it was new tricks to sports, to always trying something new. And I think we're still on the cusp of seeing a girl come into NASCAR and break down a lot of barriers that I think are still up. And I think, I think there's been a lot of girls so far that have done great. And I think there's a lot of room for a lot of records to be broken. And I like that. That's what I've always been about. And I think it's going to be cool to keep pushing forward and see that happen.
For sure. Hailie, I've got 3 daughters, and my daughters watched Danica Patrick come into this sport, and they were fans of hers from day one. And you're seeing, I know from every event that I've been near you to at a public event, the amount of younger females that come up with this smile and this grin that share with you that you are, a real life superhero to them. I know that's something really special, but I never get the feeling that was what your intention was or why you did it. It always just felt like this was what you wanted to do. But how do you kind of embrace those things when they happen, and sort of how do you carry that weight?
Yeah, I think it all of a sudden took a turn from me focusing just solely on my racing, trying to make an impact on kind of like what I'm doing, succeeding at what I'm doing, and then there's trying to impact other people. And I think that's what you have to start looking towards once you start gaining a following, gaining fans, is how can I inspire other people? How can I leave a legacy for others to see and inspire around?
And what's it been like for you too? Because I've noticed there are, let's be honest, as a father of daughters, I get it because I hear this stuff on playgrounds. Like this little boy told my daughter one day, "Oh, there's no way you could skateboard." And she's like, "No, I can skateboard. I'll meet you at the park this afternoon." And she skated circles around this kid. So I know that you've had to deal with that notion that sometimes a guy will see you pull up at a track and be like, "There's no way." And then you outrun him. And there's this great moment of humility that you're getting a chance to see more and more often. What has that been like for you to see when you beat those trash talkers, the guys that think, "What's she doing here?" That's got to be a really cool feeling.
Yeah, like everyone can talk at the end of the day, but to actually do it and prove it is one thing. So I think that's where I've always tried to play that part, is like, hey, like I ain't gonna just like mouth back or anything. Like I'll just show it. And if I don't show it, like it's better than just being all talk.
Absolutely. What have you enjoyed most in getting to drive the different cars that you have and now going to trucks? Kind of what's been the thing that's jumped out to you about moving through the different series? Can you feel a huge difference in the cars? Is it getting used to the new setups, the new speed? What do you take away from it so far?
I think the most fun part of racing is the challenge part of not settling. You're constantly striving for more. And that's what makes it fun for me. I'm a very goal-driven person. If I see something that I want to do and want to succeed at, I'm going to put all the effort in to do that. But car-wise, going from the ARCA cars, especially to the trucks, which I hear the trucks are kind of like their own animal. It's not compared a lot more the ARCA cars, by what people say, is compared to like an Xfinity car. So the trucks are totally different to learn. At the end of the day, is like a stock car you steal on pavement and stuff. So there is a lot of similarities, but I would say compared to the ARCA car, the trucks are a lot more aero sensitive. You can get bigger runs on people. You get door-to-door people entering a corner, you're going to get really loose on the inside. And when they take the air off your nose in the corners, your truck will not turn at all. And so that's certain things I'm having to learn. And I think I learned a lot of at Kansas.
Yeah, for sure. And a great place to learn. Brian, I wonder sometimes what it's like for you to be at the track in a different capacity. I know that when I was at the track and I saw Ricky Carmichael show up and race a truck, for me, it was like worlds colliding. I was like, this is the greatest day ever. You know, and he's a guy that we know rips, loves to get out there. But I have to think there are some days when you think, I mean, we've seen you hoon everything, dude, from a rallycross car to now in the Lure Series. But do you ever have those moments where you think, man, if I could just get in a second one, we'll go out there and run some laps together?
Yeah, you know, I love racing, and I feel like I always want to race something, and you know, I feel like that's a part of our family, and whether it's go-karts or whatever it is, we spend a lot of time together driving and trying to perfect our skills. And I've thought about it, like back when Pastrana first came into NASCAR, we had a lot of conversations about me coming in also. And so I went and raced super late models for a couple of years, and at the local track at Irwindale. And now I look back at it, I'm like so glad that deal didn't work out, because they were gonna throw me an Xfinity with like 2 years at Irwindale. And literally, I'm sure it would have gone a little wilder than that, but either way, I look back at it, and I drove stock cars enough to appreciate the difficulty of it and the setup and how important having the right crew and crew chief and car and all that. You totally helped me understand it more. Am I expert at it like dirt bikes? By no means, you know. but you know, I understand my daughter. I understand my kids. I understand how they think and how they race. You know, I do have that aspect. But as far as the stock cars go, I'll leave that to Hailie and her crew. And, you know, maybe if there's a day.
Just remember you say that when you coach me at the track and stuff.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm like, it's not like off-road. I can't just hit the gas and go faster.
Right. Right. Yeah. When he says, "Oh, you should try this," you're like, "Oh, should I, Dad? I was at Irwindale. I saw you tried it." Hey man, people don't know, dude. Racing late models at Irwindale is no joke. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I have old pictures. If you look them up, they're pretty funny.
It's hilarious.
And I'm like in the number, I think 58 stock car. But either way, I look back at that and I realize like the sport is difficult because it's by tenths and it's by like you just tire grip and so many things that go down. Rally kind of taught me a lot about racing on pavement and tire wear and all that. I learned a lot from rallycross, but stock cars is a whole nother level. I always thought maybe there was a day where Hailie and I could race Eldora together or something, but even that track, it turns to pavement, like at the end of the race,
you might
right?
think it's a dirt track, but it's really just a slick oval.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just brown asphalt by the end.
It is.
Yeah,
It's like,
dusty NASCAR.
literally, if you put water on like a regular NASCAR track, that's what the dirt tracks are.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I think we got to see you two in something together. I think that would be
it'd be fun.
amazing. You know what? We'll call Tony. I'll call Tony later and say, let's get him in something in Eldora. Let's go have a little fun. Well, you guys are so much fun. I've always loved getting to spend time with you both. It's so cool to see, Brian, that love that you have for your family, which everyone's always seen. But to see it in this way is a really special thing. And Hailie, it's great because you're so good at being the tough racer that you need to be, but you're also like so nice and sweet that it's sort of a funny offset to some of the stories that
I have
of
two
your dad's
personalities.
toughness.
It depends on what day you catch me.
Absolutely, you need that. Well, will you guys help us? We've got some raffles. Would you guys help me pick a number between 1 and 100 for our first giveaway we're going to do later?
38.
Yeah, it has to be 38, right?
There it is, the number 38. That's right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate y'all taking the time. Much love to y'all. Give our love to the rest of the family too.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You got it. Brian and Hailie Deegan, everybody. All right, next up, we've got our friend, the king of NASCAR. That's right, Richard Petty. But first, let's take a look at this video to give you a little background on Petty's Garage, where Odyssey Battery is their official battery partner.
Hi, I'm Rob Albright. For 24 years, a play-by-play voice of NASCAR races heard worldwide on the Performance Racing Network. But today, I'm here to talk about one of my favorite places. Founded in 2008, Petty's Garage is the fulfillment of Richard Petty's personal passion for all things high performance. A full-service speed shop born of King Richard's fierce competitive obsession for winning, both on and off the racetrack, Petty's Garage is the place for exceptional performance vehicles. The expert craftsmen at Petty's Garage have built a reputation with customers and fans nationwide as the place delivering superior engines, tuning, and the highest quality performance parts that combine to provide the ultimate driving experience. If you're a performance enthusiast, Petty's Garage is the only place you'll find power by Petty.
How cool is that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome in the king, Mr. Richard Petty. King, how are you? How you doing?
I was doing good till you call. Okay.
Do you know what? This has been truly it. I started covering NASCAR in 2005, and this is the longest it's been since I've seen you in person.
Ain't we both lucky on that, right?
Come on. You know I'm going to come up. The next time Kyle invites me up, I'm coming. Maybe I'll just stop by for Thanksgiving. You know I know where he lives, so now I can just come by anytime.
You know. Okay.
Thank you for spending a little time with us. It's such an honor. You know, I'm so lucky that my best friend turns out to also be your son. So I've gotten to spend a lot of time with you, and it's always been great, and people love it. But for people that know you on the track and what you've been doing there at the garage, tell everybody a little bit about what you guys do at Petty's Garage.
We do about anything anybody wants done. You know, we can start with nothing and make you a race car or a regular road car, or we can start with a bag of stuff that you bring in and we make a car back out of it. We do that. We do a lot of high performance stuff, you know, as far as taking an engine. We've got an engine shop here. We do our own engines. You know, they have 1,000 horsepower now if you can stand the gas prices. But, you know, anything you want to do. We do a lot of heavy duty stuff as far as people wanting, bigger brakes, bigger tires, bigger rear ends, bigger motors. We put a lot of V8 motors or big Hemi motors in Jeeps. I mean, whoever heard tell of that? So, and we do that, and then we restore old cars. So, we've done a little bit of everything. We started out doing really race cars. I needed some place to fix up some of the cars for our museum here. And the first thing somebody comes in, wants something done. First thing you know, I'm not getting anything done for me. We got customers, which is great.
It really is. And a lot of people have gotten to see Petty's Garage up close, whether it was on the Hot Rod Power Tour. You guys were so kind to open up your doors and let it be a stop. Or now the Richard Petty Museum is right there on site. But for folks who don't know, you're sitting in what was the original Petty Enterprises shop, and that's what Petty's Garage has turned into, right?
Yeah, that's where everything started. 1949. We still got the original building, original floor. I think it's on the historical deal somehow or another now. This is where NASCAR started. My dad ran the very first race in 1949, and we've been running out of here ever since. And then, over a period of time, things changed. We moved to Mooresville. We're now in Welcome, North Carolina with a racing team. So we had the big shop here and all the different cars and stuff. So started the museum, and then first thing you know, we get into doing stuff like I like to do. I like to take old stuff and make it better than what it was originally. And basically, that's what we do here at Petty Garage.
And why is it so important for you to have a partner like Odyssey Battery?
Well, we're like everybody else. We want to be the number one in whatever we do. And we looked at a lot of different situations, and Odyssey was way the best as far as we were concerned to be able to hook up with. I think we've been with them like 5 or 6 years. And, everything that we rebuild or anything out of here, we try to put an Odyssey battery in it. And they've been real good to help us around. I mean, I've got them on the farm. I got batteries everywhere, and they've been real good to furnish batteries for Hickory Junction, kids camp and stuff. And, got all kinds of vehicles over there, from lawnmowers, all the way into fire trucks or whatever. So, they've been really good, and we really appreciate that for helping out the camp and stuff.
Absolutely. And victoryjunction.org is a website for anybody that wants to dive in there and just find out about what I think is the happiest place on the planet. But since we are friends, as much as you would make fun of me every chance you get, as you should, we're sitting not very far from the car that you gave me where we found it. My 53 Plymouth wagon that you gave me was sitting, I think, maybe in that building that you're sitting right now, which I restored, had a big Odyssey battery under the hood of that thing. Do you remember me trying to convince you to let me have that car?
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to pay me for it. But all of a sudden, you changed the rules and said, I'll just take it and fix it. You know what I mean? So, I think I've seen the car. I think you brought it up here one time, showed it to me, and it done a heck of a job on the thing. I know that.
Thank you. Do you remember what you told me?
We would have done a better job if it had been done here at Petty Garage.
You said you should have brought it to Petty's Garage and you painted it the wrong color. As I painted it seafoam green. Like it should have been Petty blue. Wrong color. Let's talk about some exciting news. This year, you guys on the track, the team was able to dig and dig and dig, got some great results. And now the news that came out, Eric Jones is going to be driving for you guys next year in the 43. Has to be exciting for you. Such a talented driver. Tell everybody about kind of that excitement for you in next season.
Yeah, I think this is just another chapter in the Petty book. We've been through a lot of ups and downs, a bunch of downs lately, and we're still, like everybody else, we're trying to get better, tomorrow than what we were today. And this, we think, is really a shot in the arm for us. We feel like that Eric can take us to the next level. We've been a 20 car in the top 20. We'd like to be in the top, 10 or 15. And I know Eric can get us in the top. And so from the standpoint that, he was kind of got pushed off to the side there, Bubba decided he wanted to do something different, which is fine, because hopefully, his career goes from where we started, help him start. It can blossom on. And we feel like we can do the same thing with Eric. Eric's had a good run with Joe Gibbs, you know what I mean? But now I think that we can take him and put him in a different limelight. Always there, he was, third or fourth on the totem pole as far as pecking order. Here, he's going to be our number one driver. So we can put all of our deals and put everything forward just one driver. And so I think that's going to help us, and definitely I think it's going to help him. So we're really looking forward, like everybody else, it's always the sun shining a little bit more over the hill. So we're going to go over the hills, see how it's shining.
Amen to that. It makes total sense. Before we let you go, it's funny when I've talked to Kyle and anyone's ever asked him about cars, and, Kyle was always more of a little bit more of a motorcycle guy. And we're lucky that Odyssey makes so many motorcycle batteries, but he always told people when you showed up with the Superbird, for him, there could never be a cooler car. When you look at through the years, the way that cars have developed, and now, sitting behind you, to have your name on these cars, I was lucky enough to drive a Petty Blue Challenger. You remember you loaned me one for Top Gear, 1,000 horsepower. To see the legend that you created on the track and to see where it's taken, and now people can, from your point, you can get a Jeep, a Camaro, a Challenger, and really anything. I've seen Lincolns being restored there. I've seen some amazing stuff. What's it been like for you to kind of see that transition into it being a trusted name on the streetcar side of the world too?
I think we've got a lot of boys that's working here at Petty's Garage. They used to work on race cars, and they built everything from the ground up. So, we've got the expertise here to be able to do anything we want to do. But the big deal is taking something and making something out of it. And, that's what we did with the race car. That's what we did during the race. And we're trying to do the same thing here at Petty's Garage. And I just feel good walking through every day, just seeing stuff kind of grow. So like planting a seed, and then, it grows up, and then all of a sudden the owner comes and gets his fruit. And, it just makes you feel good to see how people really appreciate the work we've done and see their dream come true right in front of them. And it just always makes you feel really, really good.
That's amazing. Well, thanks for spending a little time with us. Everybody watching, you need to make sure you go down there to Level Cross, check out the museum, walk through Petty's Garage. If you time it right, you might just see the King there. King, before you go, can you pick a number? And I feel like I might know the number, but between 1 and 100 for one of our giveaways we're doing?
I'm going to let you guess, okay?
Okay, let me try to think. Could it be 43?
That sounds like a good dadgum number, buddy.
That's my favorite number. King, I love you. Thanks for joining us. I can't wait to see you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Richard Petty. Unbelievable. What a guy. So exciting. Before we welcome our next guest, we're going to take one more look back at SEMA last year to show you guys really how amazing SEMA is. Take a look. All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much. Here we go. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in my buddy, Austin Cindric is joining us. We know he is a Penske member, their longtime Odyssey partner. If you don't know, Austin competes full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in the number 22 Team Penske Ford. He is in the championship for heading into Phoenix this weekend. So exciting. Austin, how you doing, buddy?
Not bad. How yourself?
Man, oh boy, is everyone okay? Is everyone okay? I think someone dropped something. I'm good, man. I'm good. Tell me how you feeling this week, man. It's a pretty exciting week for you.
You think going into this weekend I'd feel some sort of pressure, but honestly, I'm just happy. I'm happy to have a shot at a championship, happy that our team's been able to do as well as we have all year, and I'm excited for the opportunity. You work an entire year to put yourself in this position, and here we are fighting for a championship.
Now, this is crazy. Remind me, you have how many wins this season?
5 wins and hopefully 6. Going for 6.
Five wins going into Phoenix, man. It's so exciting. Do you remember us talking last year in Phoenix or Miami? Where were we last year? Did we end in Phoenix last year? No, Miami.
In Miami.
Yeah, so we talked in Phoenix last year, and there had been this tiny rumor that they had put out there that maybe you were going to head to sports cars because people kind of thought you were bored. And you laughed at me about it. You're like, "Oh man, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to win a championship. I'm here to compete." And now here we are a year later, and we basically have already heard that you're going to end up moving up to Cup Series in a year, which is so exciting. And congrats on that. But for 2022, but man, just what a difference a year makes.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, getting our first couple wins last season in 2019. Obviously, you got the big bear hug after the first one, and that'll always be pretty cool. Hopefully, we get to do that again, man. I mean, that started to be my thing, hugging people after winning races, and then this whole COVID thing happens. I can't touch anyone. I can't hug anyone. That's kind of killed my vibe here. So we win all these races, and I can't hug anyone anymore. So that's been kind of lame. But overall, yeah. Really successful season this year, and it's been building on a lot of little things, and obviously to have Odyssey Battery being a part of that this year has been great, and hopefully we can get a championship for them and everyone else at Team Penske and Ford Performance. It's been a fun year, but it all counts this weekend for sure.
It really does, man. When you look at the hard work that those 5 wins have taken, because let's be honest, man, there's a lot of drivers that don't get 1 win in their career, 5 in a season. And when you look at that group that you're up against, man, it's you could say that you've got your work cut out for you, but any one of them, if they think about you being in there, they've got their work cut out going up against you. This is really going to come down to it. And I think that's the excitement that they built for everything.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, obviously, for anyone that watched the Cup race yesterday, I mean, this playoff format is brutal. and for us to be able to get – I mean, we're looking at all NASCAR series. We're the only regular season champion that's actually made it to the Final 4 in all 3 series, which is amazing in itself because, I mean, that's 15 playoff points worth of points. So, yeah, it's been great. It's been fun. It's been a bit of a grind. We haven't had the best playoffs, but it's been a very blue-collar effort for us, and for that to result in a shot at Championship 4, we don't have to worry about any points. We don't have to worry. All we have to do is finish better than everybody else. Easier said than done. Like you said, some really stiff competition. Chase Briscoe, Justin Allgaier, Justin Hailie. Those guys have done incredible things this year as well, and it's our job to take it from them.
Hey, not a trick question. Is your camera on? Because I can't see you, and I wish I could see your beautiful face.
I've been wondering the same thing because I cannot see my own face.
You can see. Well, at least you can see mine. Sometimes you can hit that little video button in the corner. That might work. I don't know. Do you see one that looks like a camera?
All I have is stop video.
Well, don't stop it because it's not working. So I don't want it to kick you off here. Let's talk about Odyssey a little bit. They were the primary sponsor of your car for 3 races this year: Fontana, Bristol, and Daytona. What does it mean for you to have a relationship with a great company like this?
Yeah, obviously it's great, and to have that partnership through Team Penske has been really important for us. I was happy to have a lot of folks from Odyssey out of California before no one's allowed at the racetrack anymore, and that was probably our best race with Odyssey on the car as well. Coming back late race, had a loose lug nut, came back up through the field. I think we went from 11th to 3rd in a lap on the final restart, and was dogging the leader for a while. Probably needed a couple more laps. So Really proud of that relationship. Really proud of that race. That's one of those that circumstances could have been a little different. We maybe could have won the race. So that's been a little fun. The other two, we got wrecked the first couple laps in Bristol, and then we got KO'd on the last lap at Daytona. So hoping there's no bad juju there, but it's been a lot of fun representing Odyssey, and obviously the performance that they bring into their industry, and obviously that matches up really well with the performance we bring to the track every weekend.
It sure does, man. It's really cool. And also one of the things I love about getting to kind of know you better and become buddies was hearing about your car. You've been working on a project car, which you have named Earl. Is that correct that you named the car Earl?
So to be 100% honest, I bought this car off Craigslist. Like one-way trip to Kentucky, got it off Craigslist. And I'm driving it around this guy's neighborhood. And I'm like, man, does this thing have a name? Like, don't even forget the fact that this thing's a grandma wagon, like total grocery getter. Like, this is not a performance car in any sense of the word. I know, surprising, right?
Is this a 92 or 93? What year is this wagon?
The last year that they made the Volvo 240 station wagon. And the name Earl was, I just asked the guy, like, look, does it have a name? And he's like, Earl. Like, I'm pretty sure he made it up on the fly as like a selling point. But either way, the whole key of this car is this engine swap. Obviously, you see the 5.0 Coyote. It's Mustang drivetrain inside this car. A massive upgrade from the water heater that was stuffed in it from Sweden. And that's really the desire for this car. When I race rally cars, I race for a Swedish team, spent a lot of time in Sweden, and they love these things for the sheer reason is you can throw so much stuff at it. They're pretty indestructible. They call them bricks. So this will be a V8 brick, and you can stuff big motors in them, fit big tires under them. And so in Sweden, there's a big car culture for these things. So I think the next step for performance-wise is getting an Odyssey battery in this thing and getting it on the ground. I'm slowly but sure. We got the off season coming up here, so I should be able to have some time to finally get Earl back on the ground. It's been a year and a half now, so looking forward to that.
So you jam that Coyote, which a lot of people know is in basically like a new Mustang. What are you going to use for a gearbox on that?
So I've paired up a Tremec 6-speed to the back of the Coyote. It's probably overkill. It is the Magnum, but I figured go that way if I ever want to throw a supercharger on it. I'm good to go.
Absolutely, because why not? I mean, if you're going to make the best grocery getter of all time, you have to make it fast like that. What's the outside going to look like when this sucker's done? What do you want it to look like?
I want it to look exactly like that picture that was just shown, because it's not. I'm not going to do wide fenders or anything. I got some really big tires, and that's going to give it away. And I want to do dual side exit exhaust under the rear doors. That might also. But past that, how it sounds, and past the giant tires that don't even fit in my wheel wells right now. It's gonna look stacked.
I would say, we could go like full sleeper, and you could have someone make a set of wheels, like billet ones that would look like the factory wheels, and you go full sleeper. But you have to do like mini tubs in the rear, aren't you?
Yep. So I've already sawzalled out the tubs, separated the unibody from the actual fenders. So I've learned a lot working on this car. The other thing is I've been doing it all myself. I've had some buddies come help me out. I've asked a lot of advice from a lot of people. If it was something I just wanted done, it would have been done a year ago. But for me, it's been a lot of fun to have something to work on. Right now I've made a jig. I never welded before this process started. I've made a jig for my rear end housing.
Wow.
All the different suspension components. So I've come a long way. I've learned a lot of things, and maybe that's the scarier part in all this. Not that I'm sticking 500 horsepower inside of a 2,800-pound wagon from Sweden in the 90s, but it's the fact that I did all the work. That's the scary part.
It's impressive, is what it. I made up on Top Gear when I had a Volvo wagon that it was made of Swedish steel, and everyone knows that Swedish steel is the strongest. I can't back that up. I don't think that's true at all, but that's what I said at the time. What would be super cool is if you could use one of your race cars' side exhausts, because some of those are they're not oval, but they're a little more like compact, right? The side pipes.
So that's the thought, but on both sides, not just the right side.
Yes, absolutely.
Because who
both
doesn't want to
sides.
drive through a tunnel or past another car and hear themselves?
That's true. I think everybody that is watching this right now is imagining a huge smoky burnout. And so really, if the exhaust is kicking at an angle, it's really going to help disperse that tire smoke. That's just me.
Yep.
But I think it's brilliant.
Got those-
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see it. Before you go, we need two things. Number one, I need you to pick a number, any number between 1 and 100.
22.
Good guess, you guys. I really thought about that. The King picked 43 and Hailie Deegan picked 38. So I kind of felt like I knew where you might go. What I want to know for the fans who have watched you compete in Xfinity, I think we have seen you in the past few years really hone your craft, and you have gotten, man, you are so good, and I think a threat every single weekend. What's been the biggest kind of difference or shift for you in the car that has made you have the performance and the results that I think you've always felt inside that you've had?
Yeah, well, I think the thing that makes me incredibly different than my competitors is the way I've come into NASCAR. I've driven a lot of different things. Obviously, I touched on, I raced for a rally team. I raced in Sweden. I've done a lot of sports car racing, as you mentioned as well. And my stock car career didn't really start till very late. I've never driven a late model. I mean, that's the normal progression into NASCAR. Is you run late model, K&N, ARCA, and so on. And for me, that's coming in a lot of different ways. My first full season in any type of stock car was in the Truck Series, and that opportunity has come through support from Ford, and from there a lot of support from Team Penske and all of our partners. And I've got a great group of people around me that have been around me for a long time, whether that's my crew chief Brian Wilson or my car chief Cody, and a lot of these guys have believed in me, and a lot of small details. I've had to learn some tough lessons. I've been put in some hard spots and made some mistakes, and the fun thing is that everyone's seen my stock car career progress on TV. There's not been a single race that hasn't been televised. So anytime I've done something wrong, I'm called out for it. So, which is fine. It's the right way to learn. We're able to not do it again. So I feel like I've been able to perfect on a lot of those things, and obviously put ourselves in position to win a championship.
Man, it's been so cool to watch, and good luck this weekend. I know you're going to do great. I certainly hope, as a friend, I hope you crush it, and I think that'll be awesome. But thank you so much for joining us. Austin Cindric, everybody. If you can't see him, just know he's a really great-looking dude. We're going to give some stuff away now. Austin, thanks again for joining us. So let's see. Let's start this. We've got winning the Hailie and Brian Deegan signed Odyssey hat. We've got Mike Nelson. Congrats, Mike. Winner of the Richard Petty signed Odyssey hat. We've got Brad Baker. Congratulations. And squeaking in with number 22, the winner of the Austin Cindric signed Odyssey hat is Dan Peterson. We're going to email all of the winners to get your shipping address. So congrats to y'all. This is really exciting. I want to say big thanks to everybody for supporting Odyssey Battery. Odyssey is going to give you a 20% product discount code to all you. It's good through next Monday, 11/9. If you have any questions or you're interested in purchasing an Odyssey Battery, my friend Aaron's going to share a screen with contact info and places to buy on the screen here, as well as the discount code. You can take a screenshot, save all the info, which is really great. You can, of course, go to your local AutoZone, 4-Wheel Parts, Napa, or the Odyssey website. But just want to say big thanks to everybody for joining us today. We can't wait to get back to SEMA next year. I know so many of y'all are missing it too. So hopefully you'll come by the booth, come say hi to me, everybody else you've seen today. Richard Petty, Austin Cindric, Hailie Deegan, Brian Deegan. Big thanks to everybody for joining us here. And don't forget, take advantage of that great promo code that is good through 11/9. Big thanks to Odyssey Battery for having me and this guy behind us. Everybody have a wonderful day. Don't forget, take a screenshot of this right here so you can make sure you get that 20% product discount code. It's VSEMA20. That's good till 11/9. Even call. Big thanks to Alan Kohler, too. Appreciate all your help today, buddy. It's so fun. I hope to see that Fiero on the road very soon. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to go for a drive. I'm going to go fire up something fun, use my Odyssey battery. Hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for joining us here today for this fun chat. See you soon.
Thank you, everybody.